You want to enjoy your retirement to the fullest, whether that's spending $6,000 a month, $8,000 a month, or $10,000 a month. You want to know how much in your portfolio do you need so you can do that. Number one is, of course, understand how much you want to spend in retirement. In today's video, we're going to go through exactly what you need in your portfolio or through a pension, rental income, Social Security, how all the timing of that impacts your dream retirement. Now, especially if you're going to consider an early retirement, which as I see it is anyone retiring between 50 and 65, you want to make sure you think through expenses properly. Because here's what most people do. They go, yeah, I'll spend $8,000 a month in retirement. The truth is you won't. You might spend $9,000 or $10,000 when you're really enjoying your retirement, when you have your energy, when you have your health, when you want to take trips. And then maybe you spend a little bit less. Maybe it's in your late 70s, your early 80s. Then maybe there's a whole lot more at the end when you go, wait, I don't want to die with $2 million or $3 million. I'm going to do more giving. Or there's big medical expenses that are coming up. Now, this is called the retirement smile analogy, where here you are, you retire, you've got your energy, your health, you're spending a very healthy amount. Then you tend to spend less. Maybe you're not traveling as much. Then it comes back up. So the idea is, can you have a dynamic spending strategy that creates a lot of confidence when you retire? Because I want you to think about it like this, and we're going to get into the case study in just a second, but think about it like getting a bonus at work. Most people retire and go, yeah, I'm going to spend $8,000 a month in retirement, and if markets don't do poorly, well, I hope it evens out, because there'll be other years where it does well. What you don't want to do is essentially be working, hypothetically. Let's assume you're working just a normal job and your company's doing really well. I hope they give you a bonus that year and say, hey, go take an extra trip. This is on us. Well, you deserve it. In other years, your company's not going to do as well in this hypothetical, and you're not going to take a bonus from it, assuming you're the CEO here. You're going to go, wait a second, this is not the year to do it. We've got payroll. We've got other expenses. It's the same thing once you retire. It's just that your market is now your employer. So if you're invested heavily in the stock market, that's a great thing. It can add a lot of value. That's what a lot of our portfolios for our clients look like. But I want to make sure you're not too aggressive. I also don't want you too conservative. How do you balance that out? Well, let's assume markets are doing really, really well. We're going to say, hey, this is the time to take an extra trip. And here's the trade-off for doing so. And you'll go, oh my gosh, I still see I'm in a great spot. And then other times we're saying, hey, this is not the year to take an extra trip. And here's the logic for it. And some of our clients go, we're going to take it anyways. That's not a big deal. And we say, great, go do it. Other times they go, wow, I didn't know that was a magnitude of $80,000 over the next 2 years. Yeah, I'm happy to push back that trip 3 months, wait for markets to shift. Now, we don't want you relying on the market constantly and worrying about it in retirement. That's not successful. We want you doing what you want to do in retirement. So I'm going to show you a real case study today to understand how much you need and how to think through it a little differently. Because some people go, yeah, I need $2 million to spend $8,000 a month, or no, I need $1.5 million. The truth is it's going to change, because maybe there's part-time income. Maybe your spouse is still working. Maybe you have flexibility where you want to spend a lot the first 10 years, then way a lot less in future years. So here's a real couple that I'm going to show you right here on the screen. So I'm a whole lot smaller. You can see me up in the corner here. This is a real couple. I call them John and Jane Sample. You can see they have $150,000 in cash. They have $1.4 million between a 403b, an IRA, and a brokerage account. And then they have a property with a mortgage of $100,000. And so right now, John and Jane Sample, they're 55 and 53, and they want to know how much they can spend when they want to retire. And so we'll go into our software here to show you how to exactly think through this for your individual situation. Now, right off the bat, I want to make sure the assumptions in here are really well thought out, because most people look at this and go, oh my gosh, this looks great. I've got a lot. I mean, it looks like I've got, call it $1.6 million today. How much can I spend in retirement? Well, don't forget, if you're going to retire early, there might be health insurance costs. So here we are layering on a potential $10,000 health insurance cost, $9,600 to be exact, but that's going to stop once Medicare kicks in. But they also want to travel, but that's not going to, be at the same level once they're in their late 70s. So it's about having a strategy that's going to change over time. So really it comes down to trade-offs. Some people come and say, I want to retire early. I don't even care what I'm going to spend. I want out of this job. Other people say, you know what? I really would love to spend $8,000 a month or $10,000 or even $15,000, and I'm willing to work a few more years if I can make that happen. It comes down to you and your preferences. So let me show you an example. This particular couple, they were just curious, hey, Ari, we'd love to spend $8,000 a month, but we want to make sure we're thinking through all the right things in terms of health insurance and travel, and we don't want to decrease our standard of living. Once we retire, if anything, we want to increase our standard of living. So what I showed them is I said, what if your monthly expenses were $8,000 a month, and you want to retire today at 55 and 53 with your current assets, I said, hey, you'll run out of money at 77. And they're like, oh my God, that's not possible. I go, you're right. That's not fun to hear. So here are your options. What if though, guys, you worked until 65, both of you? What if you worked until 65? What does that do to the plan? Well, all of a sudden we adjust that and it shows that they have $8 million. I'll go, would you like that? They go, we don't need $8 million. Like that seems too much. I go, exactly. There's a sweet spot here. And so for most people, it's, hey, we want to make sure we're spending 8,000 or 10,000 or really like we want to enjoy our retirement to the fullest. But we also want to make sure we know some of these expenses won't be here forever. Health insurance, travel, you name it. So really having a dynamic strategy is key. So I showed this particular couple, I said, hey, what if you spent $8,000 a month? That's your core basic expenses, but we're also adding on health insurance and adding on travel, almost like unnecessarily conservative. What would that do for us? And they saw, wow, we'd be on track for $3 million. That's still substantial, and we could leave a little bit to the kids if we wanted to. So they started thinking around 60, but then they go, you know what? We're going to want to travel, but that $8,000 a month, sometimes you allude to that retirement smile. And I told them, I said, absolutely. And I alluded to that earlier in this video of what if you spend more when your energy and health is optimal, and then you spend a little bit less, then maybe it shoots up at the end. So we can go here and actually add that on, what we call that retirement smile. I don't let anyone just go retire on this because it's just an average, but it's helpful to understand if you are going along the average, you might be in a better spot than you think. And people go, why is there such a massive change here from the smile on versus the smile off? What's happening is during these years, call it from late 60s all the way to early 80s, you might be spending a whole lot less than your first 10, 15 years of retirement, which lets your portfolio continue to compound even more. And that's the real power. So the premise here is having a dynamic strategy that includes everything. Includes everything from part-time income, which for this couple, they were considering saying, hey, what if we turn off this smile? That's a great average, but I don't want to rely on that. What if we retire, but all right, we'd love to be done sooner than later. We don't love what we're doing right now, but we really want to spend $8,000 a month. And I know there's going to be health insurance and there's going to be travel, but this is what we want. And I say, hey guys, that's awesome. I want you guys to do everything you want to do, but I don't want you to retire too early. So I'm the meanest early retirement advisor because I don't let anyone retire too early that's working with us just because I want to make sure we don't, have to ever go back to work again. So this was including some part-time income, and you can see here is part-time income for 5 years. And so what I'll show clients, I'll say, what if you didn't work until 60? What about 58? 3 more years and 5 more years respectively. And you're doing some part-time income, so not to the same degree. Well, all of a sudden, the plan's looking really, really good, but then we're depleting assets too quickly. Where now here you are and you're kind of 92 years old, and it's cutting it a little too close. So the premise here is not me telling my clients, hey, do this or do that. It's me saying, hey, this is all based on some really important assumptions you need to understand, which is if you want to spend $8,000 a month versus $7,000 a month, this couple's got $1.6 million. Based on when they want to retire, they're in a spot where they can start thinking about spending $7,000 versus $8,000. But me even making a shift here of $8,000 versus $7,000 is the difference of having $3 million or $200,000. And so then we can make these little shifts here, which seem little, but they're really big. What if investments don't do well? What if you get conservative growth? All of a sudden, your portfolio that looked really good, well, now it's being depleted by age 89. What if the opposite happens? What if your investments are doing really well and they're continuing to grow? Well, if they continue growing, you might have $5 million. So where's the balance here to actually retire with confidence and know how much you can spend? It has to change throughout retirement. My dopey joke is I hope you marry your partner forever, but life changes. And so just like life changes, I hope that you don't marry your asset allocation forever, don't marry your tax strategy, don't marry your health insurance coverage, don't marry your Social Security. Make sure you have a plan that is taking into account every potential hypothetical, all the way to the degree where you're going, yeah, what if I did a home relocation? What if I did downsize? What if I bought a car every 10 years? What if I took more vacations? And really stress testing your plan to know that when you do retire, you're doing it with total confidence. Because most people are retiring and they're hoping that they can spend $8,000 a month. And if markets don't perform well, they're going to feel anxious every single time they do. I'd rather the opposite. I'd rather you know exactly how much you can spend. So when you spend $8,000 a month, you know you're in an amazing spot to do so. And oftentimes I'll go to my clients and say, this year market's done really well. Would you please spend more? And if you don't, you're going to die with X amount. Is that what you want? They go, no, I don't want that. I say, great. Like, I'm encouraging you to please go do this. In other years, I'm not Mr. Nice Guy. And I say, here's the time when you don't want to do it. Here's the logic for that. Does that make sense? They go, no, go over that again. Or, yep, that's starting to resonate. So really good planning should tell you exactly how much you can spend, whether it's $8,000 or $10,000 or $12,000. And what you didn't see in the case study today, that should be very much so encouraging for a lot of you, is Social Security is going to come on in the future. So here we are in our 70s. Maybe we're not traveling to the same degree, but we also have Social Security. So maybe you're spending a whole lot less and you've got more income that's coming in. Well, that should change your asset allocation, and that should change how much giving you might want to do. And that should change. So I don't want you to ever retire too late, but I also don't want you to retire too early. And there's a fine balance there. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please do like this video and comment below for what video you would like next. Finally, if you're looking for a comprehensive strategy, it's what we love to do. So go to rootfinancialpartners.com or apply in the description below, and we'd love to have that conversation with you.